All right, so let's talk about arm versus wrist players, okay? And again, I'm gonna do the best I can. Let me see if I can change that, put that down just a little bit further. If it's stay, I'm not sure if it's gonna stay. Okay, that may be the best we're gonna get. All right, guys. So again, arm players versus wrist players. Couple things to note first and foremost. Um, Pressure points on the arm with your desk, okay? They're going to be different for each player. A wrist player is typically going to have more pressure higher on his arm up in here, okay? So he's going to be more like this, and he's going to really rely on this turning ability, all right? I'm at a 2.3 sensitivity with 400 DPI, okay? If I'm a wrist player, technically, when I do that, I should be able to do about a 90-degree turn. So I should be able to go to there. All right, now look how much I do it. Now, granted, I'm an arm player, but that's not a wrist player. That tends to become more of an arm player when you've got to turn your arm like that. Okay, so wrist players, you need to be able to make a full turn, where mine's about a 45. You should be able to go all the way. So with that being about a 45, I should say, okay, well let's double my sense. Let's go to a 4.6. All right. So if my math is correct, that should be 90. Okay. Right? So that's about a 90. 2.3 is going to give me that 45-degree turn right there. All right, same to the other side, 45-degree. Okay, and I can kind of continue that. Then again, I'm kind of toying with the arm because my arm's starting to move. All right, arm players, you guys, for example, you're going to have more pressure down here because I'm going to have to rely on that swiping ability. Okay, some arm players like to really keep their arm up off the desk. Me, I tend to get up here. I tend to keep my arm kind of in a cocked position to where I can swipe like that or whatever. Okay, that's typically what I tend to do. So my 45 is about there, and again, that's a swipe. All right, that's not a wrist flick. That's a swipe. But my wrist flicks, you know, I've got good flicking ability, even in my wrist, you know, to about 30 to 35-degree angles. Okay. Again, the common test is say, okay, well, put your mouse on the corner of your mouse pad, and then you should be able to do a 360. That's close, but that's not really. I don't like that test because I don't play right here. I don't have my mouse right here because I can't go left. I keep it in the middle. So where can you get when you go in the middle? All right, that's the real question. Where do you get when you're in the middle? All right. I just realized I've got a little bump right here on my mouse pad. I don't really ever get on that side very often though, because I tend to flick back to the middle when I do that, typically. But I can turn, I can jump, and I can do a 180. That's the big thing. Can you do a 180? 360s are irrelevant. All right. So again, if you guys have some questions, feel free to speak up. Okay, I'm just covering the real basics to being a wrist player and to being an arm player. All right, wrist players. Again, I'm just going to emphasize, you guys should be able to make a 90-degree turn whenever you do that. Arm players, yours needs to be about the same. You should have a swipe radius, and your arm's going to move in more of a pattern like this when you do it. Just like a wrist player's like this, it's just going to be more of a broad swipe, if that makes sense. Okay. Any questions, guys? Feel free to speak up.